Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shantoni Lewis and I'm a qualified counsellor. For those of you who are new, welcome. Today I'm going to be talking to you all about grief and loss. Now, the last video was talking about bereavement and loss, and today I just thought, grief and loss will be a good thing to talk about this week. So grief is very similar to bereavement. The emotions are kind of similar, but grief is when you lose other things other than just a person. Now, it could be a divorce or a relationship breakup. It could be a loss of health, which many of us are experiencing, especially this time of COVID-19. Losing jobs, again, either from this pandemic or by other situations. A miscarriage, a retirement, a death of a pet, loss of a cherished dream, illnesses, loss of a friendship, loss of safety after a trauma, selling the family home, or even something that people find small or significant, for example, a change of a job or graduating after university. So different things like that can cause that grief and that sadness and loss. So with grief, there are some myths around it, and grief, there's no right or wrong way to grieve. If you've lost something or lost someone, how you grieve depends on different factors such as your personality, your coping style, your life experience, if you have a faith or not, and how significant that loss was to you. Now, there are some myths that are surrounding grief, and some of those myths may be, for example, the pain may go away faster if it's ignored, and that's not true. If you keep on ignoring the pain, and if you try to keep it from surfacing, it will make it worse in the long run. And for healing to happen, it is necessary to face your grief and deal with it in the best way that you can. Another myth could be, if you don't cry, it means you're not sorry about the loss, which again isn't true. Crying is a normal response to sadness. However, some people may not cry, that's okay. Those who don't cry do feel the pain as deeply as other people, but may be shown in different ways. So look out for that. Grieving should last about a year. Again, that's another myth, and there is no specific time frame for grief. When it comes to grief, people may take a month, for some people it may take 6 months, may take a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5. You get the point. How long it takes differs from person to person. And again, how significant that loss was to you. Another myth, moving on with your life means forgetting about your loss. Again, that's not true. Moving on means you've accepted your loss, but at the same time, you're not forgetting the loss. So you can move on with your life and keep the memory of the person you've lost, or whatever it is that you've lost, a pet, and keep that part of it alive. That's important to you. How to deal with the grieving process. So there are some tips here. One is to acknowledge the pain. 2, accept that grief can trigger many different and unexpected emotions, not just sadness, but also anger, regret, all that kind of stuff. Seek out face-to-face support from people who care about you. Understand that your grief process will be unique to you. So not everybody grieves the same way. Support yourself emotionally by taking care of yourself physically, which is so important, and recognize the difference between grief and depression. Now, today I'm talking about grief, but I've talked about depression in my previous video, so if you need to look at depression, feel free to look back at that, and hopefully you'll be able to get some tips on how to deal with depression. Now, there are the 5 stages of grief that is there, and it's kind of like a sort of guideline of how people deal with grief, but these stages are not, they don't necessarily go in order, which is important to understand. So the 5 stages are denial. So people may think this can't be happening to me. Anger, why is this happening to me? Who is to blame for this? Bargaining, make this not happen, and in return I will. Depression, I'm too sad to do anything. Acceptance, I'm at peace with what has happened. Okay. And if you're experiencing these emotions following a loss, it may help to know that your reaction to this is natural and you'll heal as time goes on. However, not everybody goes through all these 5 stages of grief, and that's fine too. You don't have to go through each stage to heal, which is so important. So people can resolve their grief without going through any of these stages, and that's totally fine, which is so important to remember. And you shouldn't have to go through this process of, I should be feeling angry at this point, or I should be in denial. That's not the case. You don't have to go through every stage, and that's totally fine. So then there's the symptoms of grief, and there's emotional symptoms, such as shock and disbelief. So after loss, it can be hard to, really accept what's happened. You may feel numb. I think I mentioned this with the breathing, it's very similar, but then you don't sustain in that frozen state, which can be difficult because you just stay numb. Then there's sadness, where you have feelings of emptiness, despair, yearning, or deep loneliness. Then there's guilt. You may regret feeling guilty about things you did or didn't do at that time. You may even be feeling guilty about certain feelings that you have, such as relief after a person who you loved has passed away after a long and difficult illness, and people feel relief, and that's fine. Doesn't mean that you don't feel sad, you do, but it's relief that, okay, I'm at peace with what's going on. Then there's the anger. You may be feeling angry with yourself, you may feel angry at God even, you may feel angry at the doctors, or even at the person who died or even abandoned you. And then there's fear. The significant loss can trigger lots of worries and even fears. You may feel anxious, helpless, or insecure. You may even have panic attacks and things like that. Then there's the physical symptoms of grief, fatigue, nausea, lowered immunity, weight loss or weight gain, aches and pains, and insomnia. So seeking help when it comes to grieving, definitely try and reach out to your friends and family and tell them what you need from them so they can best support you, because if they don't know, then they won't know, they'll not be able to meet your needs. And also being with them, able to help you and talk with you and just support you through that difficult time. Draw comfort from your faith if you have one. That's also important. It helps you to have that hope and that assurance, and you'll feel a lot more better in yourself if you do have faith. If you don't, you can also join a support group, because grief can be a very lonely time, and reconnecting with other people who have experienced similar losses to you will also help you feel a little bit more better, and something that connection helps anyway. And of course, talk to a therapist or a counsellor, a grief counsellor if you need to. And again, we'll be able to walk with you through your experience of grief and help you through your intense emotions that you may be feeling, and just be with you at this time of grief. So I think I've mentioned everything that is important. Also, don't forget to really take care of yourself as you grieve. Maybe express yourself in a different way, and that's creative. For example, creating a scrapbook or a photo album, or being involved in a cause organization that was important to your loved one, or even writing about your loss in a journal. Again, face your feelings, don't hide from them, and don't avoid your feelings, because it just prolongs the grieving process, doesn't quite help. unresolved grief can lead to feelings of depression, anxiety, health problems, anger, you name it. And it's not the best place to go. So definitely try to face your feelings and acknowledge the pain. Again, don't let anyone else tell you how to feel. Don't tell yourself how to feel either. You know, your grief is your own, and no one else can tell you when it's time to move on or to get over it. They're not helping when they say that. Let yourself feel whatever you feel without embarrassment or judgment. Don't criticize yourself during this time. And just remember that it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be upset. It's okay if you cry, if you don't cry. It's okay to laugh if you find moments of joy. And you're able to let go when you're ready. Another tip is to plan ahead for grief. For example, the triggers, so anniversaries, holidays, milestones that can basically reopen the grief process. Be prepared for the emotional roller coaster that may happen, and it's normal for that to happen. So maybe reach out to the people if you can, and talk to others ahead of that time, and they'll be able to help you honor the person who you loved, or the pet, whatever it is that you lost, through that time. And look after yourself physically too. Try to get enough sleep if you can, eat a well-balanced diet if you can, and try and exercise, get outdoors, open up those curtains, open up those windows, let the fresh air in, you know, go for a little jog. I don't jog, but walk, jog, whatever you need to do. That will help you with your emotional health as well. So, yes, I hope this has helped you get some tips together. I'll put this information in the description box below and any other links I find. Like I said, if you need to talk to a professional, reach out to us, and we're here to help you. And I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something, and I hope that you can best support others who are grieving. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.